This video almost didn't happen. I had already spent the past week capturing images of Porto, the Douro Valley, Lagos, and Portimao, and I was tired. I wanted to take the time in Lisbon, Portugal's capital city, to get to know it, to take in the sights, the sounds, and most importantly, the taste. I wanted to immerse myself in this culturally rich and historic city, the second oldest city in all of Europe, second only to Athens, Greece, and I wasn't sure if I could do that with several cameras attached to me. I didn't know if I could be a photographer, videographer, tourist, and explorer all at once. And so there were several days when I was tempted to leave all my gear in our rental apartment and just roam. There were times when I did that, but for the vast majority of the time, I kept my equipment close, just in case I wanted to capture something. It was better to have a camera on me and not use it than to have nothing on me and to find a moment that I wanted to keep forever. In this video, I won't take you on a day-by-day journey of Lisbon. Rather, I'll show you highlights of what DW and I found so wonderful about this port city on the western central coast of Portugal. We will start, however, with a free walking tour that took us through the heart of the historic districts. We booked our walking tour of Lisbon well before we left home. Lisbon Chill Out Free Tours appreciates reservations in advance so they know how many people to expect. Our tour started in Praça Luís de Camões, a square that was about 2 minutes away from our rental apartment in the Bairro Alto neighborhood. Joseph, our guide and company founder, took us through this neighborhood, through Chiado, Baixa, Alfama, and up near the castle. He talked about the 1755 earthquake that devastated 80% of Lisbon and killed about 60% of the population. He talked about the Carnation Revolution of the 1970s and more. I highly recommend this tour and will leave a link in the description below. I also recommend that you have comfortable walking shoes and plenty of water, and that you can endure hours of walking and climbing hills and stairs. The tour takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. It's worthwhile, but takes energy. And remember that while this tour is free, the guides survive from the tips that they receive, so please be generous. Joseph was certainly worth it.
Okay. Now we'll see. Okay, we need to say again now to the down here, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Alfama é linda.
Okay, I think you understand the reaction. Probably we'll have to say it again if she opens the window on this side. But anyway.
Staying in Bairro Alto, we were surrounded by nightlife, and you can't do a Saturday night here without taking in one of the many fado bars in the neighborhood. This one, a Tasca do Chico, was just a couple of doors away from our apartment. There was no cover charge, but there was a 2-drink minimum. No problem. To see more fado, I'll add a link to my other video. Down along the riverside, we found more live music and dancing. Lisbon really comes alive after dark. Little needs to be said about the food in Lisbon, other than to say that from the street food to markets to full-blown restaurants, it's hard to find a bad meal. The food in Portugal has been nothing short of amazing, and we found the prices to be reasonable. Certainly no more than we usually spend when we dine out in Ottawa. Lisbon's Time Out Market in Caixa de Sodré, and across the street from the train station is the city's largest, where you can sample some great food from some of Lisbon's best restaurants, all under one roof. It can be a little pricey, but there is something for everyone. We went simple. And of course, we had to sample the famous cherry liqueur, Ginja, and we had it served in a chocolate shot glass. The National Tile Museum is located within a 16th century monastery and houses some excellent examples of azulejo tiles that date from the 15th century to the present day. It even has a large mosaic of tiles that accurately show the layout of Lisbon from before the devastating earthquake on November 1st, 1755. It's well worth a visit for this display alone. Admission is €5, but with the Lisbon card, it's free. And with the Lisbon card, even the bus ride to the museum won't cost you anything. Count on an hour to get through the museum. Okay, riding the Lisbon trams is one of the most touristy things you can do, but I think it's worth the experience. Our Lisbon cards let us ride them for free, so why not? We caught the famous tram 28 to get us up past Lisbon Cathedral and to the Alfama district so that we could check out the sunset at the medieval castle, Castelo de São Jorge. Arguably Lisbon's most notable landmark, Castelo de São Jorge was built by the Moors in the 11th century and stands formidably on the city's highest hill. A smaller fortress stood on the hill before then, built by the Visigoths in the 5th century, and there is even archaeological evidence that fortifications stood on this point in the 1st century. Today, it stands as an imposing symbol of Lisbon's past. The only invaders now are the flocks of tourists and visitors who want to get a commanding view of the city. The best times to come and avoid the crowds are when the castle first opens at 9 and just after sunset, after the hordes head out. Doors close at 9 p.m. The Lisbon card gives us no discounts on the €10 admission fee, but it's a must-see. On Saturday, November 1st, 1755, Christian families started their morning celebrating All Saints' Day. They lit candles to honor each deceased member of their family and headed to church for Mass. Many gathered in the massive Carmel Convent, the cathedral in Bairro Alto. It is said that just as Mass was beginning, the earthquake struck. The roof of the cathedral collapsed. Most of the city was leveled. In the houses where candles burned, fires broke out. To escape the blazes, many people ran to the Tagus River, where water had receded unexpectedly. A giant 20-meter tsunami slammed into the city, taking more victims. It is said that as much as 80% of Lisbon was destroyed, and as many as 50,000 people perished as a result of the devastation. As a reminder of the earthquake, the Carmel Convent has remained in ruins. It is now a museum that is another must-see. I said at the beginning that this video almost wasn't to be, but after reviewing the footage I had, it seems that I've been able to condense a week in Lisbon to a snapshot of what made it so memorable for DW and myself, and I hope that I've captured enough to whet your appetite should you ever plan to travel to this remarkable city. This video only scratches the surface of Lisbon. In my next video, we'll take a tour of another famous district in Lisbon, Belém, where I'll take you to the birthplace of the Portuguese custard tart, the beautiful Jerónimos Monastery, the Belém Tower, and more. Make sure that you subscribe, and if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. This is the Brown Noser. See you next time.